It's a freezing cold Christmas Day in Belgium, 1944. Your name is Paul Joseph Wiedorfer, and your present is being pinned down, along with the rest of your company, by German machine gun fire. As you look around, you realize that nobody's coming to rescue you, and it's all up to you. Merry Christmas, soldier. Hello and welcome to The Ultimate Sacrifice. I'm your host for the show and senior pastor of River Church in Parker, Arizona, Louis Marsh. 3,528 Medals of Honor have been given out at the time of this recording, and each one of them has an incredible story attached to it. Today's episode, we're going to look at one of them that took place on Christmas Day. Paul Joseph Wiedorfer was born on January 17th, 1921. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland, raised in the 2400 block of McElderberry Street, and he attended St. Andrew's School, and he graduated in 1940 from Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. On November 11th, 2008, a plaque honoring him was placed at the Poly Memorial Hall. Wiedorfer then joined the United States Army from his birth city in July of 1943. When he joined the Army, he had been married to his bride, Alice Stauffer, for just 6 months and had been working as an apprentice in a power station at the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company in Baltimore. And he was living in the 1900 block of Bank Street. Wiedorfer received basic training at Camp Lee, Virginia. He was then assigned to the Quartermaster Corps and then passed the examination for cadet air training. He was training to be a pilot, but the Army switched him back to the infantry because there was a much greater need. On the way to England, he crossed the Atlantic Ocean on the RMS Queen Mary, and by December 25th, 1944, he was a private in the 2nd Squad, 2nd Platoon, Company G, 2nd Battalion, 318th Infantry Regiment, 80th Infantry Division. On that Christmas Day, near Chaumont, Belgium, Wiedorfer single-handedly charged across 40 yards of open ground, destroyed 2 German machine gun emplacements, and took 6 Germans prisoner. He was subsequently promoted to Staff Sergeant, and on May 29, 1945, was given the Medal of Honor for his actions during that battle. Later, when he was asked about what he did to win the medal, Wiedorfer said this, quote, "So I thought, somebody's got to do something. And all of a sudden I said, gall darn it." It's not exactly what he said, but you get the point. "Let's see if we can get that nest. I remember slipping, falling, and the good Lord was with me, and I got it. I got 2 of them," unquote. While crossing the Saar River, he was severely wounded on February 10th, 1945, by a mortar shell that blew up near him. Shrapnel broke his left leg, ripped into his stomach, and seriously injured 2 fingers on his right hand. The soldier next to him died from his wounds, and Paul credited that soldier for saving his life. Recent research has discovered that the soldier's name was PFC Milton C. Smithers of New Huntington, New Jersey. Paul was evacuated to the 137th United States Army General Hospital in England, where he was placed in traction. While in the hospital, a sergeant reading the Stars and Stripes asked him how he spelled his name, and then told him he had received the Medal of Honor. Later, on May 29th of 1945, Brigadier General Egmont F. Koenig, with a band, entered the ward to present him with his medal. Wiedorfer reached the rank of Master Sergeant before retiring from the Army. In addition to his Medal of Honor, he was also awarded a Bronze Star and 2 Purple Hearts. He returned to Baltimore on June 11, 1945, and was given a ticker tape parade with George C. Marshall and Maryland Governor Herbert O'Connor in attendance. And let me tell you something, if you have George C. Marshall in your ticker tape parade, wow, that's quite an honor. Marshall, of course, was the chief of staff for the entire U.S. Army during the Second World War, later went on to be Secretary of State, was the author of the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe after the war, an incredible man. And the fact that he would go all the way there to be part of that parade tells you what he thought of Wiedorfer. After the war, he spent another 3 years recovering from his wounds in different Army hospitals, and then returned to the Baltimore Gas and Electric Company and retired in 1981 after 40 years of service to the same company. He and Alice had 4 children. In his later life, when asked about the Medal of Honor, Wiedorfer said this, quote, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if the Medal of Honor didn't exist because there were no wars and we could all live in peace? And that the only way to spell war was love? Wouldn't that be wonderful?" Unquote. Like almost all men who've been in combat, Wiedorfer cherished and loved peace. He died in Baltimore, Maryland on May 25th, 2011, at the age of 90. He was buried in Baltimore's Moreland Memorial Park Cemetery on June 7th, 2011. Now, here's his Medal of Honor citation. We always read these here. This is the first time that I've ever seen a slight discrepancy between how the citations are quoted. This is the longer version. There are some slightly shorter ones, but I wanted to do the whole thing. Citation: War Department, General Orders, number 45, June 12th, 1945. The President of the United States of America, in the name of Congress, takes pleasure in presenting the Medal of Honor to Staff Sergeant Paul Joseph Wiedorfer, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action above and beyond the call of duty on the 25th of December, 1944, while serving with Company G, 2nd Battalion, 318th Infantry Regiment of the 80th Infantry Division in action at Chaumont, Belgium. Staff Sergeant Wiedorfer alone made it possible for his company to advance until its objective was seized. Company G had cleared a wooded area of snipers, and one platoon was advancing across an open clearing towards another wood when it was met by heavy machine gun fire from 2 German positions dug in at the edge of the second wood. These positions were flanked by enemy riflemen. The platoon took cover behind a small ridge approximately 40 yards from the enemy position. There was no other available protection, and the entire platoon was pinned down by German fire. It was about noon, and the day was clear, but the terrain was extremely difficult due to a 3-inch snowfall the night before over ice-covered ground. Private Wiedorfer, realizing that the platoon advance could not continue until the 2 enemy machine gun nests were destroyed, voluntarily charged alone across the slippery open ground with no protecting cover of any kind. Running in a crouched position under a hail of enemy fire, he slipped and fell in the snow, but quickly advanced and continued forward with the enemy concentrating automatic and small arms fire on him as he advanced. Miraculously escaping injury, Private Wiedorfer reached a point some 10 yards from the first machine gun emplacement and hurled a hand grenade into it. With his rifle, he killed the remaining Germans and then, without hesitation, wheeled to the right and attacked the second emplacement. One of the enemy was wounded by his fire, and the other 6 immediately surrendered. This heroic action by one man enabled the platoon to advance from behind its protecting ridge and continue successfully to reach its objective. A few minutes later, when both the platoon leader and the platoon sergeant were wounded, Private Wiedorfer assumed command of the platoon, leading it forward with inspired energy until the mission was accomplished, close quote. Yeah, I'll bet those Germans surrendered. To see a man run 40 yards, nearly half a football field, out in the open, never get hit even once, and then do what he did, absolutely incredible. And you thought you had a memorable Christmas. That's what you call a memorable Christmas, and this is what you call the end of this video. We're going to wrap it up here, and I wish every one of you a Merry Christmas. I would also like to encourage you to check out my other podcast if you haven't seen it yet. It's called Tales from the Scrypt, and it's all about Bible stories for adults. You will enjoy it. We're doing a Christmas series over there right now, of course. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It would mean so much to me if you would. And if you would leave a comment, it would be even better. Just say, good job, or I hate you, or whatever you want to say. I don't care. I just love to get some comments and to see what people are thinking about all this. So until next time, this is Louis saying thanks for watching, everybody. God bless you, and I'll see you later.